computer. All right, awesome. So we are recording, and let's break down the actual script that I created for you guys for the 10-minute call. So let me share my screen. All right, here it is right here. All right, so this is the script. Now, one thing that I do want to let you guys know is that this script should never be just read. It's awful. If you get the script and you just start reading exactly like word by word when you're on the call, it will not come out as authentic. What I would recommend is to actually get the script, read it through, practice it. Practice, practice, practice. Like even right now, myself, I see the script. I already know that at the moment that I'm pretty much here, I already know this. So I don't need to actually read it, right? I'm going to word it out exactly as I would word it out now. But where I'm pointing is where I'm at, right? But just to kind of like let you guys know that the authenticity is extremely important. So you have to use this as a template, but use your own way of actually wording it out. Now, what I would tell you is that the tonality is very important, right? That should be something that is practiced. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend for you guys to actually go and watch Jordan Belfort Straight Line Persuasion. You will learn a lot. And it will allow you to actually perfect your, not only tonality, but everything you need to learn when it comes to like literally sales, to actually be able to allow the other person to feel comfortable, not only on the call, but to invest with you. Extremely important. And that actually comes, you know how they say rapport is built within the first seconds? That is true also in the calls. So when you get on a call with somebody, like I can give you a smaller example, like you can see over here where it says like, hello, and it's of course their name, right? Now, why do we actually have it set up like that? Because for example, if I were to say, hello, is this like, let me just use your example, your name, Preston. Hello, is this Preston? If you don't know who I am, right? And I ask you, is this Preston? How would you respond? Like, who's this, right?
Yeah.
Me personally, when I get a call from somebody that I don't even know who it is, and they say, hey, is this Robert? I just simply ask, who's asking? And if they say, oh, this is this name with this company and it's not of my interest, I'll just simply even say, Robert's not available at the moment. Please call back later. Like, even if it's me talking, I'm like, I don't want to deal with you. Goodbye, right? But instead, if you actually go on and you start with, hello, Preston? Like, you immediately, what do you say? Like, yeah, who's this? Like it instinctively like pulls it out of you, right? At that point, they already booked the call with you, but you want to like show them that you're sharp, you're there, you're calling them because you know that it's that person on that line and you're there to actually serve them, right? So for example, the way I like to do it is hello, Preston, and it goes up like up a beat when you're saying their name because it's like you're asking without even saying it. And you say like, hello, Preston, like, is this Preston? Is this you? But you're not asking that, but you're actually saying it through like your tonality, right? So that's number one. Number two, when you're saying your name and who you're representing, which is the CEO movement, that should be loud. Not loud that it just scares them. But for example, like, hello, Preston. Yeah. Hey, Preston, this is Rob Bento with the CEO movement. Now, the reason for this call is because you did book your call with me, so I can best help you and assist you to strategize the best suitable business plan to help you get started online. Now, before we begin, have you had a chance to check out our training? You see how it kind of like goes, this is right here, right? I kind of like, I've done it so many times that I just kind of like spit it out. Like, even if it's a bit different, you guys know that it's exactly as it shows, because if I were to read it, hello, Preston, my name is, and this is the difference of it, right? Because like the way that I just worded it out to you, you can kind of feel that it kind of like goes up a beat, down a beat. It's kind of like, whoa, who is this guy? Like, why is this guy so freaking excited? What the heck does he have like to offer me and stuff, right? But if I were to actually read this out and say, like, for example, hey, Preston, my name is Rob Bento, and I'm calling because you recently booked a free 10-minute call with me so I can help you strategize the best way. You see how it's kind of like so freaking, right? So that's why I'm not saying like to fake it, but it's like, dude, it's like not even. You should really be excited because that call could be your actual team member. So that kind of like just charges up like, hey, I'm here for you. Now, the reason of this call, bam, you're just telling them. That's all. And now at the moment that you ask them, right, have you had a chance to check out the web class? And if you guys have any questions throughout, feel free to freaking stop me. Absolutely. Now, the reason why I like to ask them, have you checked out the web class? I want to understand who I have on the call. Now, before I actually move on forward, you guys can see that I don't ask like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? All that stuff. Me personally, I learned this from Grant Cardone. The only person that should say and ask, how are you doing? If you already have a rapport with somebody. Like I've actually mentioned this to Nick. Like, Nick, Preston, if I were to ask you right now, right, we jump on the call and I'm actually sincerely asking you, so Nick, how's it going, man? How's your day? Like, how was your day before the call or whatever? Or Preston, dude, it's been a while since we've spoken. How has it been? That is sincere because we know each other. So it's like, I'm fully interested to actually know, like, how's it been, dude? It's been so long since I've actually heard from you, right? Or so on. But if I actually don't know somebody and I ask him like, hey, so how's it going? It's like, good, dude. Let's just get to the point. All right. Why are we on this call? Right. So that's why it's like straightforward. It's like, why am I calling you? Because you booked the call with me. So I don't waste time at all, especially because you only have 10 minutes. I don't want to waste time talking about, so how was your day? Oh, yeah, man, it was good. I was actually at work. I just got off. I'm curious. I'm interested to know how everything is and all that. It's just a waste of time right now, right? You're there to actually serve them. So it would be selfish to actually take that time away from them. That's just the way that I see it. I learned that from Grant Cardone because it says you're there to actually serve them. This call is for them, right? So the worst thing that you can do is actually waste their time by just kind of like blathering on something that, number one, you don't really like personally care at the moment. Let's just be honest. How are they doing? Because you know that you're just there to actually serve them through this call, right? And this call is dedicated to them. So you want to just go to the point to let them know that you're there to serve them by asking them the right question. Just wanted to actually send that out there. Now, the reason why you're actually asking them, have you checked out the web class? Is because it allows you to separate the people that have to pretty much understand who you have on the other line. If they've watched the web class, you know how to approach it, which I'm going to explain in a second. If they haven't, you know how else you have to approach it, right? So it's two different ways. You want to know which one to actually take, either if they watched it or if they haven't watched it. I'm going to explain both of them. Now, if they said, yes, I've watched it, right? Awesome. Okay, great. Then you move on to the next question. But I did put these in between. Reason being is because if they answer no, simply remind them of the video and content, right? Just remind them which web class you're talking about. And at that point, you still kind of like move on after to the second question, which I'll explain in a second. But you don't just want to say, all right, no worries, man. And tell me, what's going on in your life right now that has you want to start your very own online business? Because otherwise they'll be like, well, why the heck should I even start my online business? Right? So that's why it's important. If they answer no, you just tell them, no worries. I'll just use your name, Preston. I'll just say, no worries, Preston. Now the web class actually shows you the best way for you to start your very own online business in 2019. But before we move on forward, tell me, what motivated you to want to start your very own online business? I'm already transitioning to question number 2. But you want to remind them that. Because if you don't, they're just not going to really sincerely care. And I don't blame them, right? It's up to you to actually build up that interest by simply just reminding them, letting them know what the web class is about. Now, this is extremely important. If you feel it's needed that you hear background noise or kids crying or dogs barking and any distractions whatsoever, don't keep them on the freaking call. Now, that's something that I feel like many people like do wrong, where they're like they just continue with the call and whatever. You got to understand this, that if they are on the call with you, but they hear background noise and distractions, kids crying and all that stuff, yeah, they'll still stay on the call with you because they don't want to say like, yeah, dude, I got to get going right now, but if we can do this after. But what happens is that they'll be on the call with you, but they will not truly be with you on the call because they're thinking of all the other shit that they got to take care of. Here's my brother, right? It's normal. So, and plus, at the moment that you actually say, hey, is this a good time, or honestly, or would you prefer that we actually reschedule the call? They're gonna feel that you're not just there to actually freaking sell them, right? That you want them to actually be there fully, 100% dedicated, like to you on that freaking call. And they're not gonna feel like, oh, this guy's actually pressuring me to actually stay on the call. That empowers you. That gives you authority at that point, right? At that point, at the moment that you ask, they'll respect that. And if they feel like, no, it's nothing, it's not a big deal, they'll just say, oh, no, no worries, man. But thank you for asking. You're most likely going to hear that. Or people might just say, oh, no worries. No, I want to learn more. Right. But it's good that you ask them that, because at that point, you're bringing them back all of their attention. You're bringing it back to you. Extremely important. So you just move on forward. If they say yes, they've watched the web class, the same thing. You say, awesome. Okay, great. So let me ask you this. What motivated you to start your very own online business? You don't have to remind them at that point, because they're actually telling you sincerely, like they've watched it. But if they say no, make sure to remind them. It's extremely important, right? You guys got it so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So at the moment that you ask this question, this is extremely, extremely important. Just shut up and listen. Literally, just, and I say it like that because that was my biggest issue. You guys know that I can talk for freaking hours. And I literally, like, I had, like, this script, I didn't have it back then. I kind of, like, created this after with time with the things that have worked best for me. But back then, I literally had a piece of paper, like, complete, that I would just say, shut up. And I had it in front of me. Like, literally right in front of me. Like, if this is the laptop, I had the notepad, like, standing right there, right in front of me. Why? Because me personally, I needed that reminder. And I would not write it with a freaking pen. I would write it with a freaking marker so I can see it, like, bold. Why? Because it's important that you respect their opinion. When they start opening up, you just want to shut up and listen. You don't even need to say, like, I get you. Yeah, man. Just shut up. Like, literally, that was, like, my toughest moment to just do that, right? If you can do that, you're golden. I can damn guarantee you, because at that point, you're just allowing them to express themselves. And if they give you, all right, I'm already jumping, like, to the next one. If they only give you a brief, that's probably what I'm doing with Nick. That's why Nick is actually laughing. I'm gonna really go through this good so I can, like, tell you guys exactly, right? They're gonna start opening up either with job, right? No time freedom, hate their boss or whatever. Just let them talk. Just let them talk. Take notes. Take notes. And what I mean by taking notes is that, for example, if they start telling you their pain points, note it down. Note it down. Reason being is because you're providing a solution to their pain. So if you don't write down their pain points and you don't express at the end how, and I'll be coming to that soon once we get there, and you don't actually break down those pains, making them understand that joining up with you is the solution that gives them pleasure, you're missing out, like, a lot throughout the entire call. The purpose of the call, because that is their whole purpose. You allow them to express themselves. You allow them to tell you their pain that is going on in their life. And at that point, it allows you to help them be served on a higher level. Because at that point, you're able to make them understand that by joining up with you, and I'm not saying that in a way that you're telling them, oh yeah, you got to join up with me, because at that point, you won't have a boss. No, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. You want to be that person that is elegant, where you're actually, like, providing a solution, but you're still holding the key. And you allow them to really understand that it's up to them to take that action for you to actually open up and give them that solution, right? But it needs for them to be actually open to answer this question. Now, that said, that's why you want to write everything down. Now, not everything, like, in paragraphs, like, word for word. But if they start talking and they start expressing, they start saying, yeah, man, to be honest, I wish I had more time with my family because I work so much that I never have time to actually spend quality time with them, right? At that point, I would just simply write, need time, right? Far from family, right? If they give you a brief answer, ask them. Just simply ask them, can you tell me a little bit more about that, right? Or how does that make you feel? We're already down here, right? Just ask them that and shut up and listen, right? I say it that way because that's exactly what I was saying in my head. It's just like, shut up, just listen. And it's the most effective way because it really allows you to get to know them that much more. And most of all, it allows you to pretty much really make them understand that you really sincerely, truly care. Extremely important, because at that point, they're feeling heard. And people love that because not many people are actually heard with what is going on in their life, right? So at that point, sorry, bro, I'm gonna mute. I don't know if it's Awesome. I think it was Nick. I don't know who has the background noise. There we go. Yeah, it was Nick. Sorry, Nick. I muted you, but if you want to say something, feel free to unmute yourself anytime. Yeah. So awesome. So we're back over here, and all right, cool. Sorry, bro. I'm gonna mute you as well just for one quick second. But if you guys need to say anything, just feel free to unmute yourself at any moment. We're almost done. So at that point, I think. Wait, sorry, Nick. I'll mute you for a second because I hear a little bit of background noise. So I'll mute you. But if you guys need to say anything, just unmute yourselves. Awesome. So let's progress. While they're actually just kind of like going through, right? And there's another reason why you want to kind of like allow them to express themselves. Because as they're expressing themselves, they're telling you about their jobs, they're telling you what they do and all that good stuff. You really want to really think at the same time of someone. I'm actually going to put that in bold. Think of someone. I'm sorry, typo. Awesome. Think of someone in the community just like them to relate to. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because we have a lot of success stories within our community, right? So if somebody tells you like they're talking about their job and how they don't have time and all that good stuff, and they tell you that, and you ask them at that point, it's like, so what is it that you do? At the end, once you allow them to express themselves and all that stuff, if they haven't told you already, which most likely they will, if they say like, oh, I'm an electrician and yeah, I don't have time to spend home with my family and all that good stuff, let them talk. And at that point, that's when you actually just hold that for like the end where you're relating a success story towards what they actually do, right? So for example, we'll get to that in just a second. But before you move on, this is extremely important, repeat their answers back to them. For example, you just want to tell them, like, thanks for being so open with me. You're acknowledging, you're not, because it takes energy for someone to really open up. And at the moment that they do that, acknowledge it. Like, tell them, like, for example, I'll use your name, for example, Preston. I'll be like, Preston, by the way, before we move on forward, thank you so much for opening up with me. And I even tell them, I say like, dude, I know that it takes like a lot of energy to sincerely open up, and that's why I respect that. And yeah, you just kind of like acknowledge that for them, right? And then you just simply say, before we move on, I just like to make sure I'm hearing everything correctly and repeat what they said. That's why it's important that you take notes, right? It's really important that you take notes. And it can just be like 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. Like, it doesn't have to be an entire phrase, but use certain words like bullet points that make you remember like how to actually express it to them, right? And at that point, at the moment that you repeat it, they're thinking in their mind, wow, this guy actually like truly sincerely cares, which you do, right? And at that point, that's when you move on forward. Now, at the moment that you actually have done all that and you're acknowledging it and you're telling them like, of course, what they actually said to you, then you could just simply say like, and it's amazing that you actually shared with me that you're an electrician. And the reason being is because we actually have an electrician that he's about 45 years old. He lives in the UK. His name is Richard Barker. He actually is a huge success story within the CEO movement. That the cool and amazing and funny thing is that he actually earned over $16,000 in 1 month using our system. And of course, what he's actually selling, that you'll be able to see all of that once you join up with the CEO movement. He earned $16,000 and over dollars, and 10,000 of that was actually while he was on a cruise ship. Well, I believe it was 23,000. Yeah, no, I'm kind of getting confused right now with another success story. Yeah, it was 23,000 and 16,000 of that was while he was on a cruise ship, which is amazing. But at the moment that you kind of like know the success stories that we have within the CEO movement, and you actually are hearing what they're actually saying to you, and at that point you relate a success story with them, they're gonna think in their mind like, wow, that guy is just like me. He's an electrician. You're telling the story, but they're visualizing and picturing like if it's actually them living that. So the moment that you actually express all of that, the last question is, so with all that being said, how soon are you ready to get started? If they tell you, well, right now, immediately, perfect, move them on forward. If they say, well, right now I can't, Friday, no, if they say right now I can't, I have to like wait for paycheck day or whatever and all that good stuff, then you move on forward. Like I actually have it right down here, I'll be expressing it. But at the moment that they actually say, yes, I'm ready, which you will find some people that they actually like are ready right away. Might not find them right away, or you might, I don't know, who knows. But if you do, that's just what you do. You say, perfect. Are you in front of your computer? It's like, perfect. Are you in front of your computer right now? Awesome. Okay. I'm sending you the link right now that for today, for today's one-time investment. All right. I'm just going to say like how I would say it. I'm not just going to read it. Right. Awesome. So I'm going to be sending you a link right now that with today's investment that you will be making, you'll be getting access to the CEO Movement Training Academy, the CEO Movement private Facebook group, access to our weekly live calls, one-on-one mentorship, and much, much more. By the way, this is not a monthly investment. You invest once and you invest in yourself. So let me know when you actually see the link. Now, why do I do this? This is pretty much called stacking. You're stacking the value, right? Because otherwise, if you just say, awesome, let me send you a link, get started, and that's it. They're going to see it, $99. They're going to be like, oh man, is this like really what I want to do right now? They're going to start having those limiting beliefs, those doubts, and all that good stuff. But at the moment that you reassure them, you're stacking the value, then at that point, like, yes, they're opening up the link, but you're telling them, you're getting this, you're getting that, you're getting this other thing, you're getting this other thing. You don't want to tell them everything because you want to kind of, this is a quote said from Jordan Belfort, keep your powder dry, where you're not actually just providing everything, but sometimes less is actually more. What I mean by that is that, as you guys can see, of course, there is the majority of the things here, but there's so much more that we can actually share towards like what we're actually offering, right? But you don't want to tell everything because at that point, if they say like, well, I don't know if this is for me, right? Or if you start having like objections, this comes from Grant Cardone. That's why it's very important that you guys read his books, or one very, very good one that really helped me out a lot, especially on 10-minute calls. I've had this for quite a while, about a year and a half. If I can find it, I'm looking at on my library. Right here it is, right here. Closers Survival Guide. Extremely, extremely, extremely powerful book. Like, this is the Bible freaking for closing. Like, honestly, there's even like some of them that you can practice yourself. Like in the beginning, he explains, right? It's just kind of like text, all explained. And then afterwards, it's just kind of like practices that you could use for closing. Extremely powerful. So if you start having objections, remember that the notes that you've taken is what will allow you to overcome those objections. Because if they say, well, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I have the time, right? And all that good stuff. Like, I'm not going to go over like all the objections, but for example, if I start having people like, well, I don't know if I have the time to put in the work for an online business, I'll be like, whoa, Preston. I thought that you said that you were already looking to get started because you were looking to automate a business so that the income will come through your business and not from you working the amount of hours that they actually told you, right? At that point, they'll say like, yeah. Now say, well, wouldn't it make sense to actually start investing in yourself so the skill that you will acquire, no one can take that away from you, right? So it's kind of like easing them into like what they already have said to you. And then at the moment that you kind of like are reassuring it, they're like, yeah, it makes sense. And then you always ask the question, doesn't it make sense, right? To actually get started today, if you are as serious as you actually said, yeah, but if they kind of like continue that, they say, well, I don't have the money right now, no worries. So Preston, let me ask you this. If we were to jump on another call so that I can help you get started immediately, right? When would the next call will be best for you? On a Wednesday or on a Friday? Because if you're not ready to get started right now, I don't want to pressure you to get started. But Wednesday or Friday, what will work best for you? Now, why do I ask Wednesday or Friday? Because payday is freaking either Wednesday or freaking Friday, right? So at that point, when we actually get on that call, right, I know that it's kind of like on close to the actual payday. Or if they say like, well, I can't right now because I have to wait until I get paid. Again, awesome, no worries. So what works best for you for our next call? Book the call immediately, right? Like, yeah, I have it right here. That's another thing. Walk them through the process. If they say they can't get started, right? Ask how soon would they be looking to get started, and book a time and day for a follow-up immediately. Immediately. That's something that like a lot of people get wrong. Where they're like, all right, no worries. And then when they hang up, they're like, fuck, now what am I gonna do? How am I gonna follow up? But if you book a call right there and then, right, not only that you've made them become warm to you, but at that point, like you're already booking a call and you're allowing them to actually hold themselves accountable to get on that call, right? And that's when the follow-up like starts. Like every time I jump off a call with somebody, even a 10-minute call, dude, I send them a text right after. I'll be like, hey, Preston, by the way, it was awesome to get to know you and what you're looking to accomplish for in 2019. And 2019, I do look forward to talking to you again, either if it's on Wednesday or Friday, right? Be sure to, friend me on Facebook if they haven't already. I look forward to chatting with you in the near future. But you're acknowledging, you're following up right away, right? The day after, then at that point, you can kind of like give like small little value messages or whatever. But it's really important that you actually stay on top of that, right? Because you're allowing them to feel like they're already part of your team. That's extremely important, right? So it's extremely powerful. So I'm not going to go over like too much because otherwise I could keep you on this call like for hours. So I'm actually going to stop this one soon enough. But we've gotten to the end of this script, right? Now I'm going to be answering questions. So with that said, is it all completely clear right now? Like how simple the script actually is and how powerful it could be if it's actually used the right way. You guys are muted. Let me unmute you guys. One person's already unmuted. Awesome.
Yeah, man, that's pretty straightforward.
Right? But you're keeping them on a straight line throughout the entire process. And if they try to jump off the fucking Pluto by actually like talking about like, yeah, man, it's at work, I don't really have a lot of time. And plus, let me tell you the story. I have my boss that do once a week. He goes on vacation and all that stuff. And it's just so annoying because I was like, dude, I totally understand. But let's keep the focus on you. Because right now I want to dedicate my time on you so you can actually quit your job and say goodbye to that freaking boss as well. They're like, awesome, dude. Yeah, no worries. You're bringing them back on that line. You know what I mean? Do not let them go off to Pluto because otherwise they will fly and not come down until you bring them down. And if it gets like way too far, it'll become extremely difficult to bring them back down on freaking planet Earth. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's simple. Always ask questions, and that's pretty much about it. Throughout this entire process, again, you're allowing them to talk. Throughout this whole process right here. This is 80%. Perfect. How soon are you ready to get started? That's when you start talking. You're starting to break down their limiting beliefs through what they've actually shared with you. And at that point, you're able to actually reinstate the actual offer so that they can get out of their own way and really allow themselves to invest in themselves, right? So that's how you're doing them a service. If they're not investing right away, don't worry about it. Like many people, they get so attached to the actual sale that they're like, oh man, they didn't buy. This is awful. I'm not even gonna follow up. No, the freaking like out of all the calls that I've done, I think like 10, 15% of them bought right away out of 100%. So I did a shit ton of sales, a shit ton of calls, I'd say, right? But I was not attached to the actual like closing them now. I could care less. I was looking for my team. So when I would come over all the way over here, if they were not able to actually buy, I will follow up and I will book the call immediately, right? There was not a time that I actually stopped following up because I'm like, oh man, this girl didn't invest and what have you, and that's it. And just follow up. That's it. Put them on an actual list. Like keep track of that because in the beginning it'll be easy, but then when you actually start having like 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 people that you've already contacted and called, it could get messy. That's why I would recommend to have like, even if you want to do old school, that you have a notepad that you write down the actual name, right? And then you move them forward where you have like 3 columns. So what I used to do, this will be like kept in this call and with this recording. I might just use this actual recording for this script. But what I used to do, I actually have it on a Google Doc where it said cold, warm, hot. And I would have people's name all the way in the beginning on cold. Everybody's name would be on cold. If I had one call with them, I will put them on warm. If I had like the call that they were like really looking to get started, right? And at that point, it's just kind of like going through that just for them to actually make the payment. That's when it would go from warm. I would just put them to hot, right? Reason being is because when I would message them, whenever it would get to like that I had already like over 10 people, I would take my list and I would know exactly how to follow up with them, because I would know if they're like still cold, that I haven't had the call with them, or if I had that call that they were on the warm list, right? Or if they had like that call or that second call and they're just simply ready to get started, I would just put them on the hot. I know exactly how to follow up with them, right? It's extremely important. Being organized is super, super powerful. So I would recommend that as well. That would definitely help you out with doing 10-minute calls.
All right. What are some common objections that you have gotten?
There are a lot of them. Like one common one is, well, what products are we selling? Are we selling a product or are we selling a training? Right? And the best way for me that I found to actually answer that is that at the moment that I tell them, I said, no, we're absolutely selling products, right? But the actual company that we're working with, that is reserved to the paying members of the CEO movement. Now, the reason for that is because, like, honestly, Nick, I personally care about your success. I can tell you right now the company that we work with, but the thing is this: if you go out there and invest with the company and not have a system to automate everything, guess what will happen? You will have to work your ass off to actually generate sales, continuous sales, in order for you to actually be able to quit your job. And at that point, you are pretty much quitting your job, but you're still working hard for yourself to continuously generate sales. What we created with the CEO movement is what allows you to automate 90% of the process. So remember when you said that you actually wanted more time to spend with your family? Yeah, that's exactly how you're going to do it. Because at that point, you're able to have your business working for you and not the other way around. So if I were to tell you that information right now, I would not be able to see you succeed. Knowing that, of course, I want to see you succeed, my best interest is to actually partner up with you, work together to allow you to become our next success story. Will you allow me to do that? Like, yeah, dude, absolutely. You see how it becomes though? It's kind of like you're overcoming that objection. And most of all, you're pretty much just finishing it off with a question that empowers them. The call is for them. Like everything and anything that you do for leads and all that stuff, they are the superhero. You're just the Yoda that could actually allow them to become, of course, the actual superhero that they kind of like yet don't know that they are, right? It's just kind of like a small little example. So that's why it's like the call is not about you. Never be interesting. Be interested in them, and they will feel that. Does that help, Nick?
All right. Yeah. What if they say like that it's like too expensive or whatever?
If they say it's too expensive, I would say, Nick, let me ask you this. Everything that you have done so far in your life, how much has that has cost you? And I'm not putting a price tag on this. I'm actually saying in time. With time. How much time do you currently have to spend with your family? How much time do you have to actually do the things that you love doing? Isn't that more valuable than actual money itself? The time that you actually have to do the things that you love to do? Yeah, of course. So what is a $99 investment that allows you to invest in yourself, to learn a skill set that nobody can take away from you? How valuable is that to you? See what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
Again, return it around with a question. Break down the limiting beliefs.
Get them thinking.
What's that?
You just gotta get them thinking.
For sure, because and it's normal, dude. Because like honestly, salespeople have put to the point that they have like that bad reputation, like another salesperson, who knows what. But when they feel that you're not there to sell them, but you're there to serve them, and most of all, when they feel that it's like people are gonna have like all those objections, is normal. Like expect that when you get on these calls, expect the worst objection you can possibly have. Like really. No, don't be like nervous, like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be like, so no, but just expect they're going to have those objections, because the reality is that it's absolutely freaking normal, right? But at the moment that they feel, that's why you have to get into that state of mind that you are able to just simply be detached from the sale. Don't care about like, oh man, I'm hoping that this guy's, but no, you're investing your time in a call that will empower them, even if they don't get started, because it'll keep them thinking, and you will have anonymous freaking followers. What I mean by that is that at the moment that you get good at this, even if they don't invest right away, they will follow you. And with time, they'll be like, hey, you know what? I've seen you grow. I've seen you staying persistent in your business. I want to freaking get started. I don't know what the heck. Like, let's just get started. Awesome, dude. It's now a good time to actually get started for you. Yeah, let's do it. That's it. Like, just understand that it's a numbers game. The more calls you have, the more you're building your audience. The more you're building your audience, the more sales will actually come through, just like any traffic whatsoever, right? This is the most powerful strategy because they're able to get to know you. They get to actually see that there is an actual real person on the other line, on the other side of the call. Extremely powerful. Does that answer your question, Nick?
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And that's the thing, dude. It's just like really understand the qualities for them and that you're there to serve them, right? And practice. Do not feel like, oh man, that call went horrible. Absolutely not. Like, study it, analyze it, think of how it went, and think of how you can improve. If you do that, gosh, like, you're gonna be building a freaking team in freaking no time. Like, for sure, I can damn guarantee you. But if you start to wonder, like, oh man, that didn't go so good, or whatever, it could have gone better. No, dude, it's like you're staying steady. Just move forward, learn from it, move forward, do better, right? Take notes, understand like how was your tonality. Kind of like I would highly recommend to watch Jordan Belfort's Straight Line Persuasion. That will really help. It's like 10 or 11 modules, 10 or 11 lessons that they all last like about 45 minutes to an hour. Even if you watch like one a day, but you practice it right away, that's going to be fucking powerful, extremely powerful. I highly recommend that. All right. Awesome. So Preston, Nick, you guys have any other questions?
Well, how do you close it if they just keep rejecting?
Okay, that's a great question. All right. If they keep on rejecting, at that point, I would just ask them. Let the dog in. Awesome. Okay, understand this. I actually forgot to actually share this last thing with you guys. You're on the call for about 10 minutes, 15 max. If you see that you're getting to the 10-minute call, 10-minute line, but they are not serious whatsoever, then at that point you will say, like, on the 8th minute, I'll be like, all right, Nick, just to let you know, we are getting pretty close to the 10-minute mark. Right? I do respect your time. I value your time. So we will have this call over in 10 minutes. If you say that they're like not serious whatsoever, just total like waste of your time and their time as well, that's it. But if you see like they are having a couple of rejections, but they are sincerely like interested, you'll feel it. Who are those people, right? At that point, you'll tell them as well. All right. So Nick, we are getting pretty close to the 10-minute mark, but since I am still a little bit available, I do want to dedicate this call to you. I do have another 5 minutes. Let's just really focus to really give you actionable steps that you can take immediately. Yeah? Would you allow that? Yes, of course. Awesome. Fantastic. So when would now be a good time to actually get started? This was one line that like is a total freaking killer. Like, I absolutely freaking love this line. At the moment that like, even just like if you say, and you don't want to repeat it like too many times. I use this like once or twice max. Right? When you use like, great, so how soon are you ready to get started? That one is good. But me, what I personally love that is my favorite, and this I use it like when I really want to get started. All right, so Nick, what would now be a good time to get started? It excuse my French, it fucks with your mind simply because like you're just here. It's like it's super influential a little bit because if you say it like slowly and you kind of like hear it back, it makes no freaking sense. But at the moment that you say, all right, so when would now, and kind of like go up a bit with that tone, when would now be a good time to get started, right? They'll be like, well, I get started right now. Awesome. So if I send you over the link, and you go on the other one. But if they keep on saying like objecting, right, and saying, no, I can't, then at that point I would ask, Nick, let me ask you this, sincerely, everything aside, what is honestly stopping you from moving forward? And they'll just open up. And that's the point when you actually, again, you just shut up and listen. And they're going to be telling you exactly what's going on in their life, right? then at that point, take notes. And then at that point, I would just simply ask, awesome. Out of everything you've told me right now, if I were to actually solve one of those biggest problems by us partnering up together and working together, how valuable would that be in your life? You're breaking down that belief again. Because at that point, if they're just kind of objecting, don't take it personal. They have not seen yet enough value. That's true. But at the moment that you tell them, all right, they're opening up again. They're telling you like what is holding them back, right? Finances or whatever and all that good stuff, right? And you ask them, if I were to solve even just one, which I'm sure that I can solve more. That's another thing that you could say, which I already know that I can solve more than just one. But if I were to just solve one of those big pain points that you have right now going on in your life, how valuable would that be to you? And they will say like, man, that would be like super valuable. So if it only costs a one-time investment of $99, would that be worth it? That's already kind of like demolishing their whole freaking belief towards that, like that it's not valuable. You see what I mean? So that's where you're guiding them to that. At that point, they'll say like, heck yeah, it's valuable. Awesome. So how soon are you ready to get started? You ready now? I said like, I guess. I was like, no, man, I don't want to hear I guess. I only work with certain people that are freaking certain on taking action. Are you ready? And I have the thing that I just bang on the freaking table. They hear it. It's just kind of like, I'm alive, you know, like when I freaking talk and all that good stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm ready. Awesome. I'm sending you the link. Make that investment. Invest in yourself. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Yeah, man, I'm going to do it right now. Awesome. Nick, one last question. Would there be any reason for you not to get started today? You're allowing them to actually hold themselves accountable, and you are going to be the one actually being able to hold them accountable. No, man, I'm getting started. Awesome. Fantastic. So you will be actually getting access to everything. Now, just because I really want to make sure that you actually get the most out of it, let's book another call right away so that at the moment that you're joining tonight, the next call that we'll have, I'll be able to actually guide you through the training and allow you to actually make the most out of it. Yeah? Awesome. Fantastic. What do you say? Then, of course, it depends like on during the time of the week, but you want to book it like for the day after. What do you say we get on another call tomorrow? If tomorrow doesn't work for you, I'm available. Like, what's today? Today's Monday. I'll be like, so awesome. Let's book another call for tomorrow. If tomorrow doesn't work for you, I do have a small little spot open on Wednesday as well, right? But it would be best if we do get started tomorrow, since I'm sure that you want to make the most out of course, everything you invest, the investment that you're making today. Be like, yeah, man, absolutely. So at that point, you just book that other call. You always want to book another call. Yeah, extremely freaking powerful. Yeah.
And do you actually go into Acuity and book that, like on there, or just write it down?
No, at that point, I would just write it down, and then I go to Acuity. I set it so that I'm actually sending the reminders through Acuity to them.
All right.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that. That's a great question. Awesome. So we're pretty much close to an hour mark. I do want to shut down the recording just so it's kind of like a good 60 minutes. We'll still continue our call. But do you guys have any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Nick?
I'm good.
Regarding the 10-minute call?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna be shutting down this video. I might just use this as the actual training video for this particular script, since I do walk through everything, and I love the questions that you guys had, because I'm sure that other people will have these questions. If you're watching this video and you have other questions that were not answered in this video, don't hesitate to ask. Send me a message. You'll find me at Rob Vento on Facebook, Instagram, and all that good stuff. I will be seeing and chatting with you guys soon. The recording will be stopping on 3, 2, 1. Cheers. Bye for now. Awesome. So we're going. I have to stop the